Hey, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be working on the 2003 325i we call Arthur Dent. A couple weeks back I had an issue where I couldn't get the car to unlock with the key in the door, in the driver's door. It would unlock with the key fob and lock with the key fob, and I was worried at some point I might get locked out. So we dug into it. I thought the module in the door was bad. I bought one. We checked the one in the car. Turned out that was not the problem. The problem was the little mechanism that goes from the key cylinder to that module. It's a pretty simple thing. We're going to show you how to get it out. It's pretty easy to get out of there.
And we're going to show you how to rebuild it. So we got a rebuild
Yeah, we got a kit here to.
And we'll get farther in depth. And all this information applies to just about any E46 Cooper sedan. So it should, if you have an E46 and you have problems with unlocking the door with the key, hopefully this video should help you out some to be able to rebuild that lock cylinder assembly, because it seems like that's what's failing more often than that whole actuator module that's in the door.
All right, so here we go. All right, here we're at the driver's door. This is outside, and when you open up the driver's door, just inside of the handle, this is what you're looking for, this black plug. And then so you'd want to take this little inside piece out. Take your little flat tip screwdriver. Get that piece out, and then get this, and you got to get this other piece out here too. Both piece, and that comes right out. All right, now that you got that plug open, you get you a Torx T25, and right inside that hole, I don't know if you guys can see it, right in there, I'll kind of put this in here so you can kind of see what angle it's on. Right, oh, there she is. Right there at an angle is the bolt that's holding the lock cylinder in. You start to back that thing out. Now it's captured in there, so when you're just going to turn it loose, and once it's loose, it won't come out.
So once you get that captured screw loose, you just take your same screwdriver you took that plug out with earlier and put it in the hole back here, which you can't really see from this angle. The same hole where you access that screw, and you just pry gently on that lock cylinder and pull from the outside with your other free hand, and you don't have to apply a whole lot of force, and it pops right out of the door. Okay, so we got our lock cylinder out of the car and on our little work table here, and we're going to start to take it apart. But first we're going to show you basic tools you need. So just a pair of needle nose pliers, a small flat tip screwdriver, your parts kit, a ballpoint pen, which we'll show you what that's for later, and then a vise of some sort. We just got this small vise on our work table so you can see what we're doing, but you could use a bench vise or whatever too. You could probably do this without it, but the vise helps it a lot to be able to hold on to the lock cylinder when you're taking it apart and reassembling it, and we'll show you why. First step, you want to remove this plastic cover. There's just two clips here on either side holding the cover on. You just take your flat tip screwdriver and pry on from underneath the clip there and lift it up, and you can just hold that one kind of with your thumbnail. It's not super strong, and then reach over the other side and lift it up. And then the cover should, oh, see, I'm having a little trouble here. Oh, there we go. All right. Yeah, so it takes a little doing, but it'll pop right off. So once you get the cover off, just set it aside. And now, the next thing you want to do is take and remove this little roll pin here, because that's holding this clip in, which holds the whole assembly together. We already reassembled this for testing purposes, but we're going to show you how to take it apart and then how to put it back together. So first, like I said, you want to take this roll pin out. You just grab your pair of needle nose pliers, grab this little roll pin, and it should there we go. Takes a little doing to grab a hold of it, but just keep at it and it'll pop out like that. There's not a whole lot holding it in there, so you should be able to just pull it out and just set that aside. So now you want to pull this clip off, and then so just be careful because this is a spring down in here and it's coiled and it's compressed in this direction too, so this thing's going to want to come shooting apart on you. So you just kind of hold on to it, and then we'll just use a flat tip screwdriver here. You get down in this slot right here behind the thing and just kind of pry on it a little bit and it'll pull right out. So yeah, and there's not a lot of, ton of spring pressure there. So this will come out and then this comes off the end. Set those aside, and then you can pull the spring out. And then the piece that usually breaks is this one right here. So you can see we already got the new one in there, but this is the pieces that's is what is breaking inside your lock cylinder and causing it not to function. So there's 2 of these in the kit, and you want to match up from your broken pieces. We just want to make sure to make it clear about how to choose which one out of the kit for the right-hand drive car. If you hold these 2 pieces, we got both these sides, all these pieces with the step side on your left, then you will see that this key shape goes this way on these 2, and it goes diagonal the other direction on the left-hand side model. And just for reference, this one with the tape on it, this is the broken one that we took out of our lock cylinder. So you want to identify the shape, the way this key hole shape aligns with this step on this side, and match that up to the new one. So this is the one we need to replace with. It matches up to that one. The key part is just match up these 2 shapes on the back of your broken one, if you can, to the new one, and then that'll that's your replacement piece. And then it comes with this other piece that drops down in there. So let's pull that out and show you how all this goes together. So this, the other replacement piece that comes in the kit, and there's just one of these, and it just goes in. So if you orientate this hole down like this in the bottom corner like this, the bottom right corner, and then this piece goes in just like this and drops right in. You want to make sure it drops all the way down in like that.
Yeah, it should be flush to this edge.
It'll be flush to this edge, and you'll see these tabs that stick up should be flush to here too. So make sure it's all the way down in there. Next, you're going to take this other piece here and drop it in, and you'll see there's a skinny side and then a side here that has 2 extra steps on it here, and that's going to go oriented to this far side. So the skinny side is going to go to where the side where the hole is. You drop that down in there. Just as a heads up, some of this stuff, because of this cast metal, you might have to fine tune some of these parts. We had to fine tune some of these with a small file just because they had casting flash on it. That's just going to be a thing that happens. It's not perfect, but just to get everything to kind of mate together and want to, because this is all going to turn together against one another inside this assembly once you get everything together. So now once you get that other part in there, we're going to take your spring. So it's got, let's set this down for a minute. So you look at this spring here, it's got these 2 tangs on here. It'll go either way into the assembly, but you just most important part is where these tangs go. See,
the tang that's going to go into the bottom, you want on this side here of this lug down there like that. And then you see this other tang is going to stick out over here. So this is the part where the vise comes in handy. So now we're going to take and put this in the vise like so. And just to, I shouldn't have to say, but just be careful. You don't want to put too much tension on this. You don't want to break this assembly with too much vise tension. You don't need to put a bunch of tension on it. So now we're going to bring the camera in a little closer so you can see what we're doing. We got things changed around in a close-up shot so you can see what we're doing to finish assembling this thing. So again, just a quick reference, you want to make sure that this lower tang on the spring is up against this lug where the roll pin goes, like so. And once you have it oriented correctly, you'll see the upper tang here is approximately 90 degrees to where the roll pin hole is. So now you want to take this top piece here of your lock cylinder assembly, and you're going to push down and compress on the spring while you take the pin, your ballpoint pen, the tip of the ballpoint pen, and put it over this upper tang. And while you're pushing down on the spring, you're going to want to wind this spring to this upper tang is over here on the other side of this lug where the roll pin goes. This can be kind of tricky, so it might take you a couple tries. So just keep at it. Try again. Ta-da! Now I'm going to use this other piece here. This clip here, this smooth or the flat side versus this side that has the raised edges. This side goes up, this side goes down inside of there. Lastly, just take your roll pin and your needle nose pliers, and put it in the hole there and just kind of tap it in. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to really hammer on that. It's just to hold it in place to keep this from popping out. So now we can pull this out and it's complete, and then we'll pop the cover back on. And now it's ready to reinstall into the car. Real quick, before we reinstall this in the car, we're gonna do a quick function test with the key. So just to show you that it returns, you turn the key either way, it returns the center like it should. So now we can just pop this back into the car and good to go. We're just going to reinstall this back on the door. It's just the reverse of coming out. Pop this in here. Slide that tight. Just a side note, to get that to go in the door, you might have to put the key in the cylinder and twist it slightly to align it with the
actuator inside the door. The last step to finish reassembly is just to put these two plugs back in the door here. And then once you do that, you're all done.